Well, welcome to the Zag Talk Podcast Live. My name is Guy Danhoff, and we've got a very special guest for you as we're going to have joining us all the way from the great state of New York. We're going to be joined with Coach Thomas Gelardi, and I'm so excited to have him on the show. We're going to have a really, really good time. And what's really exciting for us, Tom is an elementary teacher, and he teaches K through 5. He'll tell you all about that. He's also a former Teacher of the Year in the state of New York as well, just actually this past year. But the other thing is he's got a really cool surprise to share with everyone, something that's going to air tomorrow on national TV. So without further ado, let's bring him in. Coach Gelardi, how are you, Coach?
I'm doing well. Definitely doing well, Guy. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. You know, obviously, as MOSHAPE's president, we are so excited that we are able to work with, obviously, with Open and all the great things that you all do. And you're obviously going to be our Open national trainer coming. Last year, you know, we had Chris Walker, and Chris just lit it up, and Chris was phenomenal. And now this year we've got you. And you know, tell us a little bit about your background, so our audience gets a chance to get to know you a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, I was always passionate about anything that I kind of pursued in my life, and who knew where it would take me. And I just had a knack with working with young kids. I figured that out in a little after college. So I knew I could work well with kids, and I knew I liked to be active, and elementary PE was really the way to go. And once I figured out that's kind of what I wanted to do, like the rest was history, really. Yeah.
Yeah, and so why specifically, you know, K through 5? You know, I mean, you've got all those different levels. Why that group?
Yeah, well, it comes down to my experience. When I had such an amazing elementary experience early on in my career,
Cool.
I was mentored extremely well by one of the most passionate and dedicated teachers who really kind of taught me how to pay attention to details and what it takes to be a really great teacher. And I fell in love with her as a mentor, and I fell in love with the school, and I knew that this is kind of what I wanted to do. It was that level.
That's pretty cool. And you know, what are some of the, because we know sometimes the future professionals will watch these, you know, what kind of advice do you have for those future professionals or even young professionals that are in the HPE space?
I think the biggest thing is, you got to realize the competition's there. I mean, there's usually one or two elementary teachers in a school. They can be there up to 30 to 40 years before there's the next opening. So how do you kind of get ahead of the others? I think you got to double down on yourself and your own personal growth. And however way you can do that is key. For me, like I said earlier, I got mentored well. Make sure that whoever is mentoring you is someone that's dedicated, passionate, and
Mhm.
has nothing but their best interest in you.
Right.
And realize early on in your, a lot of mentorship happens your last year in college, and you kind of pick a school that's close to home, or that you might have it in that building, right? Which is great and all, but if the teacher doesn't have your best interest or not giving you what you need to grow, my suggestion would be to make a move and get mentored correctly. Because once you're in the field, if you're expecting your coworker who has their own life to kind of help you, that's not going to happen. And by the time an administrator rolls around to see your lesson to help you develop, it may be 3-4 times a year, if that. And yes, you can go on workshops and PDs, and of course, social media and phys ed is absolutely amazing. But again, you really want that one-on-one guidance that you get from someone that's really dedicated. And so really, really be very picky on who mentors you. And the second thing I would say is get into a habit of being comfortable on camera.
Mm.
My life changed the moment my wife decided to get into the profession, and she was struggling early on with classroom management, which all new
Wow.
struggle.
Yeah.
And I was trying to tell her in person what to do, but she had trouble understanding it. So I'm like, I'll videotape myself and I started videotaping myself with my students. And as I started going over it with her, I was noticing mistakes that I was making.
Oh, wow.
And prior to that, I thought the lesson went perfect. I didn't think there was, I was proud to show my wife where I was going with this. And to realize I was making mistakes was really eye-opening. And the biggest thing is when I watch myself and I see mistakes made, I could hopefully fix it myself. But if I can't, that's where my mentor
Right,
comes
right.
in to look it over with me, and she or he will spot out areas to improve. And you want to improve because teaching just becomes easier if you master it. And people say, Tom, how can you be so creative? It's like, well, I had focused so long on my own personal growth for so many years that it had freed up time for me to be creative and to feel comfortable trying new things and not to worry about losing control of that class, because I've worked on it for so many years,
Absolutely. So let's transition to that, because you and I had the privilege and opportunity. I believe it was Gopher that we were on one of their podcasts. Both of us were on, and we were talking about social media from two completely viewpoints and angles. Obviously, I was talking about it from the advocacy standpoint and the kinds of videos that we do about, like Missouri Healthy Schools, where we go in and we tell these stories. We get superintendents on camera, principals on camera, even lead teachers. And so we've been doing that pretty consistently for the last 2 years. But you go on and you've created really something very unique. And I say that because, first and foremost, you're so consistent at it. You're so innovative with it. I love the fact that you're willing to put yourself out there as frequently as you do. And you haven't done it on one platform, but you've really done it on two, between your YouTube channel and your TikTok. Tell us a little bit about that whole progression. And, we understand why you got started, but now kind of, how are you using it? Because it seems like, yes, you got it for your students, but a lot of it this is for all teachers all across the country.
Yes, no, yeah, Guy. I mean, when I started my YouTube channel about 4 or 5 years ago,
Yep.
my goal was to initially make dance videos for brain breaks, because I was stuck in the classroom a lot and I knew how they would light up when they saw me on the screen. So I started making those dance videos, and then my ultimate goal was to make little videos on YouTube to explain games that I've either seen or done, and just show people how I explain it, as it'd be helpful for new teachers so that they can learn how to explain a game quickly and as clearly as possible. And that was my ultimate goal. It wasn't until the pandemic hit and kind of remote learning came,
Mm-hmm.
where this whole PE at home situation developed. But once the remote learning kind of subsided, my ultimate goal was to get back into making YouTube videos with creating activities. But I was noticing that to make a YouTube video just was it was a process with editing and the time. I found making a 4 to 5 minute YouTube video would take sometimes over an hour
Right.
between beginning and end. And a guy, this, I'm a father of 3 beautiful children. I just don't have an hour
Right.
of my day. I go to work, I come home, I'm with my family till 8, 9 o'clock at night. And by then I'm exhausted. So I needed to figure out, is there a way I can just do this quicker? And then I noticed TikTok makes these 1 minute,
Yeah.
at most 1 minute videos. And I made one. I think my first TikTok was, hey, if you want your students to raise their hand when you want to say something to them, have your own hand up as an indicator, as a signal for them to raise theirs. And then I posted it. And between editing it and posting it 10 minutes,
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
I'm on to
Yeah.
something, because what I
Yeah.
can do is I can take that one TikTok video and share it on all the platforms, even on YouTube.
Correct.
And I'm doing exactly what I wanted to do, and just a lot quicker. And it just opened up a whole new world of making content.
Well, it certainly has, in the impact of it. And just curious, do you have some other, people around the country that once in a while will just DM you and just say, "Hey, I love your video," or "Wow, that was a great point," or even to the point where some of them might say, "Hey, I got an idea for you. Could you do a video on this?" You have any of those things kind of going on?
It's overwhelming the amount of feedback and DMs I've gotten. I've gotten people that have contacted me saying that during of remote learning, they were going through a procedure and they were forced to stay in their building and figure it out, and that my
Yeah.
videos have saved them. I've had other
Wow.
I've had other young professionals that were nervous doing a remote lesson, and they used my videos and got hired for their positions, which is unreal.
That is unreal.
What I love about TikTok is I'm reaching out a really young audience, and I
Yep.
have people that contact me that were juniors and seniors in high school and were uncertain where they wanted to go in their life, just like I was. And when they see my enthusiasm and passion for PE, it's kind of getting them to have more of a direction towards this profession. And we need young people that want to be in this profession. I think if we are going to push this profession forward and we want to get rid of all those stereotypes, it kind of falls on us. And I think me sharing these videos and what I feel based on my experience is what elementary PE should look like. If I can somehow inspire them to get into the profession and be similar to me, I think it would only benefit the children and the world in this profession. At least that's how I feel.
No, Tom, you're right on point with that. It's something that this. I've been advocating for this for over 5 years. I get a chance to speak at the SAM group leadership the last few years, also with Shape America. I mean, these are things that we talk about, and we know that there's teachers around the country that are having real influence and real impact, even including someone like Matt Wood. Actually, his YouTube channel, it's monetized. He actually qualified for the partnership program, so you can
Amazing.
even make money at it, right? So
Yes. Yes.
you know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying this, that again, it's the communication tool, and it's in a very effective way that, again, you can be so relatable. Especially, I've had this conversation with Michelle Huff, because we talk on TikTok the last 2 years at Shape America National Conference. We talk on TikTok, and that's a big thing that we talk about, is connecting with the students, and even the parents get a chance to see it. Like, oh my gosh, well, I like him. Well, you're, and then it's funny when they say, well, your teacher's a TikToker, right? I mean, it's kind of cool, but it's
Yeah.
really about being relatable and connecting. And I just wanted to tell you, that's part of the reason why I wanted to bring you all the way to Missouri for our conference coming up in 8 weeks. So with that, could you give us a little sneak peek of, I know you have 2 sessions planned. Can you give
Yes.
us a little sneak peek on what you're going to be doing?
Yeah, I have 2 sessions. One's going to be instant activities for all grade levels, and the other one will be open for elementary playbook.
Okay.
And really, I'm just going to dive into open, and there are so many modules, so many activities that I'm just really going to pick my favorite ones, the ones that I've connected with my students, and share it. And then when teachable moments or my best practices pop up, I'm going to share those as well, and try to really create the best experience that they can have, that they basically could have in the time I'm with them. Yeah.
Oh, all I can tell you is we're real excited. I can tell you this: when I was, when the team got together, we're going through, all the sessions. We saw yours, and it was just a lot of fun. And we're just so excited you're going to be here. Like I said, I first met you a few years ago on that podcast, and we've stayed connected ever since. So, with that, why don't you talk to us about something else that just happened? And here it is. What was it like being contacted by the Today Show of NBC, and then you find out they want to come to your school, bring the whole camera crew, kind of like we do on, On the Move, but obviously they do it at the biggest scale possible compared to what we do, but nevertheless, it's kind of the same, concept. So talk to us about that experience. What was that like? Yeah, we want to hear.
Yeah, I mean, it was through email, and they were reaching out towards the end of last year, saying that they're looking to do something for like back to school.
Yeah.
And I said, great, but there were no logistics or anything involved, so I kind of enjoyed my summer. And sure enough, the beginning of August, they reached out again saying that they really want to make this happen. And I contacted my principal. And then I soon realized all the steps involved to make this happen, as exciting as it is. There's so many things you have to do in regards to, dotting those I's and crossing those T's to even make it happen. Because I work in New York City, and, getting the releases at the location, getting, working with children. So I need those minor releases.
Yep.
And so that whole process was a little stressful because it was new to me, but I was super excited. And then once it all kind of was coming into fruition, and I knew what anchor was coming, which was Dylan Dwyer, who, is just an amazing anchor. And it was so humbling for her to come to my school on Friday to not only interview me, but to meet my principal, interview her, get an opportunity to meet some of my students. And the way I was treated by my school, everyone was just so happy and excited. And I've gotten a lot of well-deserved, and we're so excited for you. And it's just an amazing feeling to work for a school that just supports you so much. It's nothing like it. And I've worked in buildings that I didn't have that kind of support. So to be in this situation, in this building, and being able to represent my school in such a positive way is unbelievable. And the fact that it's going to be live tomorrow, Eastern time, 9 a.m. during the third hour of the Today Show is really unreal. Like, my dad was calling me early just to double check the time. He doesn't want to miss it. And he contacted my entire family, and so they're excited. And so it's just a wonderful moment. I can enjoy it with my friends and family. And I don't know how to explain it. It's just a wonderful thing.
Well, and right on cue, right? I didn't even know he was on, but there's the aforementioned Matt Wood, all the way from Washington, the state. And he says, "Congrats, Tom. I can't wait to see your segment tomorrow." Matt, we love you. We know that you know what goes on in this space, particular, making videos, YouTubes, and certainly as much as that you love your students. But Tom, here's the deal. Yes, you're representing New York. Yes, you're representing your school. But I can say this from someone who does media, obviously working with our state, and including even, working with Shape America. What's going to happen tomorrow? You're representing all of us. You're representing the HPE profession. The fact is that, NBC felt that this was so worthy. They contacted you. They followed up. And now you get a chance. The world gets a chance to see, one of our very own, what it's like, the kind of the day-to-day thing, and what you do in your classes and how you impact lives. And I'm just so excited for you and this opportunity. So I'm just letting you know, everyone's going to know, because I can tell you on our channels in Missouri, when I get that link, we're blasting it everywhere. We want everyone to see the segment. And the reason being is, again, you're representing our profession. And like I said, we're just so proud of you and just being given this opportunity. And it's just, you got also a cool backstory. And the last question I really want to ask you about is, recently you were the Teacher of the Year in New York. What was that like?
It was a surreal moment. And Matt and Guy, thank you so much for those comments. It was a surreal moment. It was one of those things. It was my goal when I was a new teacher, having zero clue on how to win an award like that. And I assumed you had to know someone. I didn't realize if you really focus on your own personal growth and look to grow, all of a sudden these doors open up, and you meet people, and they get to see what you're doing, and then you get enough years in to even apply, and good things happen. But it was an amazing moment. It was in Turning Stone, upstate New York, so about 5 hours from where I live. And my father and my mom, who live in Pennsylvania, drove all the way down. My wife came, and it was just a wonderful moment. And I was able to say a few words on stage in front of so many dedicated professionals in New York State. I mean, New York State AFID has some of the most dedicated and passionate teachers around. And it was such an honor. And the best part was when I had received my award, there were so many past teacher of the years that just had the biggest smile on their face and was so happy for me because, we're representing our state. It's more than just
Right.
me. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing. And I take a lot of pride in winning that. And one of the other coolest parts is the moment I brought that trophy back to my school. A teacher's like, "Hey, Tom, we got to display this somewhere." I'm like, "Oh, all right.
Yeah.
That's probably, maybe we could." And she went out of her way to speak to my administration to make that happen, which was
Wow.
wonderful. So for the entire calendar year, my trophy and my award was displayed on the first level of the school for students to see day in and day out. And that brought me such joy because I cannot tell you how many days I tell my students how it's so important to give your best effort, be kind, try your best,
Yeah.
and good things will happen. It just takes time. And the fact that I'm holding this glass trophy in front of them, it just makes me kind of drive that point in a little further. So it's an amazing thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just want to give a shout out to someone you know very well, and that's Brian DeVore at MOSHAPE. I'm just going to let everyone know, and this is kind of a sneak peek just to our convention, which is going to be great. Tom, you'll be there, obviously, seeing our award ceremony. You'll see our Teachers of the Year. But one of the things that Brian did with us was for the State Teachers of the Year that, we're going to be doing something unique and special we've never done before, which we're going to be doing like an on the move style of video where we actually go to the Teachers of the Year school, get their admin to say some things, get to see the teacher in action, certainly get reaction from the teacher themselves. But we're really going to do this up at a very high level, first class level. And the reason being is same thing that you just said. We want people to recognize the excellence and the commitment that our teachers who are on the front lines each and every day, and how they just keep the priority again on their students. And it's something that I just want to say, just thank you to Brian and certainly Open Phys Ed for supporting us, here in Missouri with the Teacher of the Year program in Missouri. I know they certainly do it, think over 20 or 22 other states as well. But I know in Missouri, it's very special to us for that very reason. So I'm just so glad that you shared your story, and just so glad you're coming to Missouri in about 8 weeks, and can't wait to see you there, have you there. I will certainly, grab you to sneak into my session. I'm actually going to have a session I should have done last year, but we're going to be talking a little bit about how teachers can actually leverage and use social media to have a greater reach and impact, along the lines of things that you're doing with YouTube and certainly TikTok. So
Yeah.
I'm going to give you the final word. Anything else you want to say to MoShape Nation?
Oh, real quick, I will say Brian DeVore, like you said, is an
Yeah,
amazing,
of course.
he's an amazing person. I wouldn't be
Yep.
on. I wouldn't be part of Open if it wasn't for him. And Open has opened my doors
Yeah.
to develop friendships with some of the most passionate and dedicated teachers
Yeah.
around the country. So it's unreal. The last thing I will say is, Guy, I'm super excited to be going to Missouri. It's going to be so much fun. I already booked my hotel. I'm looking forward to
Nice.
booking my flights real soon. I get excited. I remember last year on social media, all the postings of stuff that happened in Missouri late last year. So I'm excited about it. I'm excited about tomorrow. I hope that I
Of
represent.
course.
I hope that I represent us well.
Yep.
Listen, there's stereotypes out there, and we just have to keep, focus on ourselves and what we can do, and in time, our profession will get the respect needed. You just gotta baby steps.
Absolutely. And that's
Yeah.
that's part of the reason why we're doing this broadcast. We just want to create more awareness for it. That's what it takes. Awareness, awareness, awareness. And we want to certainly amplify those great stories that are going on, like yours tomorrow. So if you're watching the replay, and you see this obviously on Thursday morning, just know that at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, tune into the NBC's Today Show, and then third segment, Coach Gelardi will be going live. So we're so excited. And thanks for taking the time to hang out with us. We'll see you in about 8 weeks.
Looking forward to it, Guy. Thanks again for having me.
All right. For my amazing guest, Tom Gelardi, my name is Guy Danhoff. We want to thank you for watching this very special edition here as we promote our upcoming Our Time, Our Legacy 2023 convention. Thank you and good night.